We're on?
Uh,
Now we're on? Could everybody else see that? All right, that's cool. All right, so it's Monday once again, November 1st. Wow, we just had Halloween last night. Trick-or-treating out with the kids and all that kind of good stuff.
I didn't. I didn't have no kids and didn't go trick-or-treating.
Well, we went out there to Palisadro and shuttled them around, and they got plenty of candy that we'll probably throw in the trash because there's too much of it. Anyway, we do have a special guest today, but before we get to him and announcements, let's go ahead and roll the Joe Biden clip, or I guess it's the Let's Go Brandon clip.
Yeah,
that we're talking about. I thought this was pretty good. It's like done to an old AC/DC classic. So
I've only heard the music. I haven't actually seen the video, so this ought to be something.
Whenever you're ready, Eli, let's roll it.
LGB. 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 They say LGB everywhere I go. LGB. What it means, I don't know. LGB. Whatever it is. LGB. Kamala, help me, please.
Alrighty then.
LGB.
That Let's Go Brandon, right?
LGB.
This means let's go, Brandon.
No. LGB.
Sounds like Let's Go Brandon, I guess.
LGB. All right. Let's go, Brandon.
I am Cornholio.
Chant LGB. Right wing and left wing. LGB. Go, you know the thing. LGB. If you don't sing that back. LGB. And you ain't black. LGB.
Let's go, Brandon.
LGB.
Let's Go Brandon.
LGB.
Let's go, Brandon.
FJB. Let's go, Brandon.
They're getting so good with these things.
Some people have a lot of time on their hands or something.
I guess if you know how to do it, maybe it's quick. I don't know. It's like oi, 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 oi. We're doing the AC/DC chant. Wow. So should we do announcements? Have we got? We're supposed to have a guest scheduled here. It's Dan Gorman from Intellectual Froglegs.
Frogleg University.
FU, Frogleg University. And I don't know if we've got him on yet, or we're working on it.
I texted him to the phone number as well, so he's usually really good about it. So
well, let's just go and do our announcements until we get him on. He should be zooming in theory. If not, maybe we'll get him on the phone. It's technical here, but who knows? Anyway, Shasta County, United We Stand, upcoming events.
Yeah, I was trying to pull it up, and
well, I got no mandate Mondays, skip school morning rally.
yeah, that starts at. It started at 10:30 this morning.
10:30 at the River Park. Evidently, that's going to be every Monday from now on until we're free again. And that's. I tell you what, we're living in such crazy times. When was the last time that you knew that parents were advocating playing hooky? I guess. The Park Food Trucks Evening Rally, that would be again tonight. So that's the Park Rally.
On Placer, right?
It's, 1550, 1552 Placer Street, 5:30 p.m. I'm not sure what park that is, but there must be one up there. Yeah, maybe it's the one by the air park. I'm not sure.
Or I was thinking the one by the railroad tracks. What do they call that one?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, see.
Maybe we get somebody to clarify that for us if they're online or something on Facebook. I know we've got, looks like Sally's might be in the chat room there. I'm not sure. Okay, so then we've got Freedom Fridays, signed waving. That's every Friday from now on, I guess. and that's November 5th, this Friday, 4:30 to 6 p.m. in the corner of Dana Drive in Hilltop. We've also got the rally at the Capitol, a statewide field trip, and that's November 15th at 10 a.m. And that would be at 1315 10th Street in Sacramento, right by the Capitol. And also, there's going to be a local rally here, if you can't attend that, at 10:30 a.m. at the Riverfront Park. So things are...
cool. Wonderful. No, we want to talk to him, that's for sure.
This is the famous Joe Dan Gorman from Tennessee, intellectual Froglegs, superb video guy. Are you with us, Joe Dan?
I think so. I believe so.
All right.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm not entirely sure, though.
How's it going back there in Tennessee?
Oh, man, it's going awesome. It's awesome. They just passed some sweeping anti-COVID mandates here in our legislature over the weekend.
Nice.
And I know you guys in California are kind of jealous, but hey, I'm sorry.
We're in California at this point.
Oh my gosh,
it's awful. I mean, it's not that they could fix the elections or anything like that.
Oh no.
No problem.
No, these guys would never cheat.
Oh no. They'll inject children with untested drugs. But they never steal an election. They've got their standards.
Well, they do.
Well, yeah, they do.
Their morality is intact at this point. Yeah, at least according to CNN and MSLSD.
Yeah, these people. I mean, the thing here is this that medical tyranny has actually hit here.
Really?
One of the top medical institutions on the planet is Vanderbilt Medical Center, and they're located. I'm in the Nashville area, and I was asking them. I have a heart doctor. I had a heart attack a few years ago, so I'm supposed to go back for a checkup every year. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong, just a checkup. They told me I'd have to wear a mask. And they asked me about my vaccination status. And so I just, and I did not decline anything. I just started asking them questions. And, oh, my God, they gave me the same medical advice I get at Facebook. So what the hell, man? And I just had a simple question. What is the ethical basis you have for promoting a vaccine with no long-term tests?
And the answer was?
There was no answer. Well, you need to go to the CDC website. No, the government is not my doctor.
Well, let's call Pfizer and see what they have to say.
Yeah, and what's funny, if you Google the largest criminal fine in American history.
Yep.
You don't have to put in a company or anything. Pfizer comes up. They paid, in 2009, they paid a $2.3 billion fine for bribing doctors and hiding adverse test results. But make sure you get out there and take those boosters.
Well, with the vaccine, an experimental procedure that has not actually been approved by the FDA. They lied about that too. It's some Comirnaty thing, and I got the letter that was published from the FTC to Pfizer, and they flat out admitted they didn't approve it.
Well, the thing is, you can actually look and find the information that they're hiding. That's one of the problems, and especially since this COVID nonsense, or the boogeyman flu, what I call it, they're having to do they're doing all their meetings online through Zoom. So you've got the FDA. The other day when they approved the alleged vaccine for kids, they had that. It was an 8-hour video. I didn't watch it. I'm not. But I had friends watching it, and they sent me some clips from it. And then one of the board members said, "Well, we never know the safety, or they said we don't know how safe it is until we actually do it. But that's why I'm voting for it. I'm like,
Wow.
what?
Well, it's a good thing it's not gun legislation.
Well, maybe it would be a good thing.
Oh yeah, true.
Unbelievable. I mean, these guys are so out of control, and this is, I mean, Pfizer, basically supports everybody. It used to be, remember the left when they used to go, hey man, big pharma's got control on everybody. You need to check yourself because you're supporting all these people that are supporting big pharma. It's like, what happened?
I mean, the left has just, well, the more I've looked into it, as a lot of people have, whatever this juggernaut of evil is, we know some of the players. We know big tech and big pharma and BlackRock and all these. But whatever it is, it's more powerful than any single nation state. They're more powerful than our Congress. They actually own the occupant of the White House. Well, at least for the moment, until we fix that crap.
I'm not sure if they own him or they're just, or if they're just playing him like a marionette.
Maybe he's testing the vaccines for him.
Well, then that would be a proof you don't need it.
Approved by Joe Biden.
Approved by Joe Biden.
Approved by Joe Biden. Well, that'd be a great commercial.
Yeah, and then apparently over the weekend, Biden went to the Vatican, but actually they should change that to he went at the Vatican.
I heard that rumor, and I was looking to see if I could confirm it, and I was like, what's all this about the poopy pants thing in Biden, and it's like, I guess if you weren't in the room, maybe you don't know.
Yeah, but I think some of the people that were in the room really do know. Yeah. They introduced him. They told him, I said, this is the Pope. I guess he thought they said poop. Hey.
Well, there's just, oh man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of material there. Listen.
Yeah, when I first saw the story, I said, holy crap. Actually, that's not exactly what I said.
Oh boy! Listen, I do want to play a clip, Joe Dan, of that you posted on Rumble of it's the Christine Anderson one, and I think
she's wonderful. Yeah, I have a crush on her now.
I think this really goes to what you're saying, that this is bigger than our country. I mean, this is a worldwide pandemic. This is a worldwide push for vaccine. This is a worldwide thing, and you got to go, hey, if I start seeing patterns after a while, I don't necessarily see that. If I'm walking through the forest and I walk out into the open and all the trees are planted in rows, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out there's some intelligent design going on here. Now, what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's too coordinated.
Yep.
But go ahead with that clip, and then I always have something to say.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead and roll it.
That renders a system oppressive. It is always the methods by which the goal is pursued. Whenever a government claims to have the people's interest at heart, you need to think again. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite sincerely concerned about the well-being of regular people. What makes any of us think that it is different now? If the age of enlightenment has brought forth anything, then certainly this. Never take anything any government tells you at face value. Always question everything any government does or does not do. Always look for ulterior motives and always ask, cui bono, who benefits? Whenever a political elite pushes an agenda this hard and resorts to extortion and manipulation to get their way, you can almost always be sure your benefit is definitely not what they had at heart. As far as I'm concerned, I will not be vaccinated with anything that has not been properly vetted and tested and has shown no sound scientific evidence that the benefits outweigh the disease itself and possible long-term side effects, which, to this day, we don't know anything about. I will not be reduced to a mere guinea pig by getting vaccinated with an experimental drug. And I will most assuredly not get vaccinated because my government tells me to and promises in return I will be granted freedom. Let's be clear about one thing. No one grants me freedom, for I am a free person. So I dare the European Commission and the German government throw me in jail, lock me up and throw away the key for all I care. But you will never be able to coerce me into being vaccinated if I, the free citizen that I am, choose not to be vaccinated.
Very powerful.
Yes.
Your thoughts on that, Joe, Dan?
I love her.
Yep.
I totally love her. You know, and she's right, and it's just stunning where we are. I mean, if you have government-sanctioned fraud here. I mean, basically, if you haven't figured it out by now, our entire government is a huge mafia that launders our taxpayer money back to themselves through foreign aid, endless wars, and these fake projects. Like the $25 million for a speckled lesbian.
Well,
we have to study those things.
It doesn't really cost us anything, Joe Dan, because it's like a $5 trillion deficit or a budget. I mean, it's going to cost us zero, so it's like, who cares?
Who cares? That's right.
No problem.
But I'll guarantee you, in the near future, you're going to be hearing commercials that say, like, if you took the COVID-19 vaccine between 2020 and 2021, you may be entitled to compensation.
Oh, boy. There's going to be a few. I mean, talk about an ambulance chaser.
Even if you died, you can still get money.
Yeah, that's going to help.
Yeah, that's it. Even if you're dead, don't hesitate. You know.
Hold on. Yeah, it's so screwed up. I did write down one question this morning that's been bothering me. I don't know if bothering me is the right way to put it, but I've been curious about why intellectual frog legs.
Why not?
I mean,
because you get great T-shirts like the one I have on.
Yeah, she's got a She's wearing a T-shirt.
Well, bless your heart. I knew you looked better than the rest of them today. I created. Next year will be my 10th year with Intellectual Froglegs. And I was one of the first people to get my content removed from YouTube. And so when I created Intellectual Froglegs, most conservative type shows, they're like Patriot this or Right Wing that, and you're automatically putting yourself in a box,
right?
Because they want to stereotype everybody, and so I went with Intellectual Froglegs. Stereotype that.
It's kind of like a badge of honor at this point that you were the first one to go. But at the same time, I'm always imagining, instead of like sitting around having tea, we're sitting around, toasting with frog legs, and in the middle of, next to the Hatfield somewhere.
In the swamp.
I don't think.
Yeah.
That's Louisiana. I don't think it's Tennessee. I don't know.
But we're close enough. They're our cousins. We're good.
I was going to say I don't think there's swamps in Tennessee, although there is the swamp, and it's the deep.
Yeah, we have members of the swamp in Tennessee. It's like our GOP senators are a joke,
right.
Like all of them. I mean, they do nothing. And all ours do is just appear on Fox News, and but we're good though. We're good.
I think we're winning. I was going to say, Joe Dan, I think we're winning. I think we're winning the narrative. I really do. I believe that.
Well, look around the world, and if you don't believe the power of the grassroots, look at that rap song. You know, that "Let's Go Brandon." I got 2 "Let's Go Brandon" T-shirts, by the way. But look, it beat out all the corporate artists.
Yeah.
All of the corporate funded artists beat out. And what it was like the first day, they knocked Adele down to number 2. Now, the last time I looked, I think 2 days ago, the top 5 spots were "Let's Go Brandon." But that's the power of grassroots.
I agree.
Yes.
And it totally is. And you look at everything. People don't look at the college football games, the pro football games, the World Series. People are not buying this nonsense anymore.
Nope.
And they've had it. And look at all the people walking away from their jobs.
Yep.
So, but I feel, I'm with you. We are winning. We are winning. They are desperate. I mean, they're not hiding anything now.
Well, it's freaking crazy. Or the whole thing's. We live in a circus world at this point because it's like going to the election. I mean, Joe Biden won. Let's see, he's the most popular president in history. No, not that. Let's see, he's a great orator. Nah, campaigned really super well, drew big crowds. No, got the most votes in history. I don't know if it's me, but I mean, something just doesn't compute when you add it all up. And, oh, by the way, you got 10, 11 million more than registered voters. I mean, that's kind of like the zero sum on a $5 trillion a budget bill.
Well, you look at the things going on in the states around the country, Wisconsin and Arizona, and now up in Michigan, and the momentum's going.
Yep.
I mean, there's no doubt that they cheated, and more and more people are seeing it, and more people They had a big meeting in Michigan over the weekend, and then you saw the guy up in Wisconsin last week. The sheriff came out, and he showed videos of them saying, "Oh, we're going to have to break the law."
Yeah, it's like
what else do we need? We got video, we got documents, we got eyewitnesses.
We need somebody that'll prosecute them is what we need.
Well, I don't know how it's going to play out. Nobody does, but I'm confident that we're going to get through this and get on the other side of it. And it's not going to be as long as we're thinking.
Well,
if they called the election, that would really change things around. That's for sure.
Well, the conservative media is a joke. Mm-hmm. It is a joke. And, you're from your Fox News and Newsmax and your Daily Callers and Breitbarts. They talk about all this stuff. They refuse to talk about or give any coverage to all the election stuff. And Dominion, they are a criminal organization.
Yes.
But Dominion, like so many other places, is government by proxy. That's why nobody can touch them. They're threatening individuals. They're threatening companies. They're suing everybody. But all these conservative companies, conservative news organizations that ignore this election, it's kind of like that old saying that I always love. Besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you enjoy the play?
It's so true. I mean, I don't think these guys, maybe they do get it. The fact at the end of the day, if there's no if there's no law, there's no prosecution, what do they think is going to prevent the people from tar and feathering and showing up with the pitchforks and the torches at some point? Because do you think that we're just going to keep putting up with this for forever? I'm not advocating anything violent. Maybe we can solve this by just not complying. But at the same time, I think these people are delusional. When you're filling up stadiums with the F. Joe Biden and your hockey games and NASCAR events and it's across the country and you're seeing it everywhere in the top 5 of the hits. At what point in time do these morons go, hey, you think maybe we should stop?
Well, I think it kind of backfired on them with the mandates. I don't think they thought the people would stand up like they are and walking out. That's part of it, I believe, People have had enough. And now they're going, what the hell do we do?
I guess that's the next question. What's next?
What's next?
Well, I think we're just going to keep going for a little while we more people wake up, because people are waking up every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm seeing. Look at the liberals, the traditional liberals that are now becoming freedom fighters. Your Dr. Naomi Wolf, Glenn Greenwald, an amazing journalist. You know, you just go down the list, and then you look at where you have people like that. Nikki Massage.
Nikki Massage.
And, you know, I don't know anything about that stuff, but I know she's got like 140 or 150 million followers.
Well, look at Joe.
They're joining in.
Look at Joe Rogan.
They're joining in.
Look at Joe Rogan.
Rogan, yeah. And I tell you, one of my new favorites is a guy I used to detest, and that's the British guy.
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. I almost called him Davy Jones. but he's hilarious because he comes from basically a far left perspective, and then so he's now trying to be unbiased. And when he's looking, when he's analyzing stuff, it's almost ridiculously unbiased, but he makes wonderful points and he's entertaining. So I recommend him. I really do. I don't agree with anybody that 100%. But you know, right now, we don't have time. There's no time for political purity. You know, we got to stay. If you're fighting for freedom, you're on my team.
I think that's I think that's where we're at because you know, with the mandates. I mean, after a while, you can't deny that there's adverse reactions after you lose your job or you get the vax. I mean, you know, these people are all starting to figure out that we either hang together or we're going to hang separately, and I don't think there's any other way about it.
Exactly, just like in our community, you can see people reaching across the aisle. You know, I don't like that term necessarily. That, you know, from different walks of life, whether it's doctors, teachers, everybody's starting to come together where they wouldn't before stand on one or two principles, and they're going, you know, I want my freedom and liberty.
Well, you're seeing who would have absolutely cooperated with the Nazis.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing right now, because this is just insane. The need to inject a child. Children aren't even affected by this thing.
Yeah.
And they want to mandate an experimental drug. I mean, holy crap. There's like the Justice League of Commie. I almost said a bad word.
Well, this is a podcast, so we can...
you're good.
It's okay here.
I can say words. I can use words.
You can use your words.
Yeah. They're like a Justice League of Communist assholes. You know, we got... So... But people, you know, we outnumber them.
Yep.
And we still have our Second Amendment.
Yes, we still have the power.
That's what's keeping these guys at bay, because I don't think they want to start that one. But you know, you go back to what you were talking about with the kids and the vaccine and all this stuff. I mean, I know that this COVID is real. There's no question about that in my mind. But what's screwed up is how do you treat it? I mean, they're treating it with some Pfizer vaccine that you know, doesn't work. You know, started out at 100% efficacy, and we're down to 20, and now we get boosters and all this stuff. I guess just going home and getting some chicken soup and maybe taking some horse paste was probably the wrong idea.
Well, you know, I am not entirely convinced that I think that there's something out there, but until somebody explains to me, you know, for the past 20 years, we've had from 20 to 40 million cases of the flu, and then it dropped down to 1,800 when COVID arrived. Now, until somebody can explain that scientifically and logically, you know, that's why I call it the boogeyman flu.
Well,
I mean, because my 90-year-old aunt, hand to God, my 90-year-old aunt tested positive for COVID, and she's fine. She's 90. She's had COPD for a decade, and she's fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're not supposed to be looking at that. That's not their science.
No, what I'm saying is this. You're right on the flu. I think it's just a nasty flu.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know a friend of mine. I just talked to him the last couple of days. He's been in the hospital for a couple of days, and he had to smuggle ivermectin in, and now he's out of the hospital. You know, so if you don't treat it, and you take it and give it a couple of shots of some stuff that makes you sicker or screws up your immune system,
right?
You know, and then you're a spreader, and then you're giving it more to everybody. What all you're doing is you're creating the epidemic that should be just treated as a flu.
Well, you know what? And if you look back over the past several months, COVID was about gone until they brought this vaccine crap in.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see all these people that are double vaxxed and triple vaxxed and whatever the hell, and they're getting the COVID. So, I mean, and you mentioned the adverse effects. The people I spoke with at Vanderbilt Medical Center were not even aware of theirs. You know,
wow.
They had no idea. What is the vaccine adverse effects tracking or something?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's scary.
And the fact, that is scary. That is scary. So, but, you just got to stand tough. You got to ask questions. And one of the things I found, the most respected doctors, the most believable doctors are the ones that are standing up against it, like Dr. Robert Malone, the inventor of the mRNA technology. They get just slandered and censored. But you know what? They come out, they give their credentials, they give their name, they give their history, and they sit and they will answer questions. None of these scientists and doctors that are promoting this crap will answer questions.
Oh, except for Fauci. Fauci will answer any question you ask him, but it's a different answer every time he talks.
Yeah. Well, and it's always a very general answer. But, they don't tell you anything. Now, go to the CDC website. You know, like, you might as well get Facebook to be your doctor. Okay. Dr. Zuckerberg, thank you very much.
Yeah, that works well with the new name, too, right? Meta?
Meta.
Oh, Meta. Oh, doesn't it?
Yeah. Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But, I've been seeing that we do have some wonderful sources. Some wonderful independent media is coming up. And, one of the biggest shows out there right now is Steve Bannon's War Room.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with Steve Bannon on everything, but, he covers the important stuff. And then, like, I guess tonight, Tucker Carlson's got that big special on January 6th, and it looks like it's going to be really good. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing it, but I will not watch it live. I will not give Fox News a dime. I'll wait till it's on an external platform, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing as well. I don't even want to give these guys any credence at all because they're always channeling a narrative. I mean, it's like you say they don't talk about the elections. So now all of a sudden, because they've been holding political prisoners for 6 months, people are starting to get mad about it. Congressmen can't even get in there to see them. Their attorneys are being screwed with, so they can't even look at the evidence. I guess the evidence is missing. That they've got, and then you look at all that and you go, where you guys been? You don't talk about anything in the elections. You don't talk about January 6th. You don't talk about the FBI that showed up there on the Capitol steps and sort of let everybody in. That type of thing.
You're right. And then with like Tucker, I see somebody like Tucker. He's a professional. He's really good at what he does, but I have no respect for him because he's got all the resources to do this thing he's doing tonight. And you can see the resources he has. You see the passion that he is able to move in a certain direction. Imagine if he had this passion on the stolen election, which was a government sanctioned a stolen election.
Yeah.
Government sanctioned.
Yeah.
And it just blows me away that they will not cover the biggest crime in the history of the planet. And then expect us, and then he gets up there and says, I'm not part of the groupthink or pomposity. It's like, you jackass.
Well,
lying,
I mean, it's just like CNN. I mean, Brian Stelter. I mean, he's been truthful all along. You know, I mean, he. It's like, you know, they've been purporting everything. You know, they talked about everything. Oh, wait a minute. No, they haven't talked about anything. They've lied about everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, CNN's ratings are so far down at this point that I don't even know how they stay on the air.
And they are moving money behind the scenes because there is no way, if they had to rely on their ratings and their advertising revenue, there's no way they would still be on the air. But one of the things that that just still cracks me up is that Brian Stelter has a show. What's his show called again?
You know, I don't even know.
I don't know.
Let me say it.
Meet the Prostitutes.
Reliable sources. Reliable sources.
I was thinking Meet the Prostitutes.
Yeah, well, I think that's the subtitle. But
that might be where they're raising all their money at, Joe Dan. It's because there is a back room there, I think, somewhere, and somebody's making some money on the side.
So yeah, they're making big money. They control every bit of this. The people in charge are getting really good paydays right now to promote this nonsense. And you would think that some of, and you're seeing, I think, some of them come around and wake up to just the unethicalness of all this. It's just stunning. We're actually discussing this. They're trying to inject the entire planet with an experimental drug.
Well, what we're finding out here is that we're going after our boards of supervisors. We've already recalled one, and I think that is part of the key to every county in the United States is to get people in there who are going to support and defend the Constitution and the rule of law. That's where we've done it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to start locally.
And you know what else we need to do locally? And so, because it was Ronald Reagan who told us to. If you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat, and that's the kind of what we're doing with our local, our state and local officials. But also, we need to get our local media. They are the ones that are spreading the nonsense. They are supposedly our friendly neighbors who care about us. Get in their face. Call them out for lying like they do. And, they sit and they report CDC stuff like it's the gospel of John. Like, are you kidding me?
They're talking.
These guys.
They're talking heads. It's like they're talking heads. Like I've been on these guys locally.
I was going to say we hit on them a lot. I wish there was something else we could do to get it out there about how bad they are.
I mean, I'm doing like a Trump thing where I'm creating pet names for them constantly. You know, I mean, the one guy that I'm thinking of, I call him. His name is Mike Mangus. I call him Mike Mangas. You know, I mean,
I call him Mag
because that's all they do is they report half truths. They twist into the narrative that is the pervasive coming down from high from whoever's running the show. They leave things out. A half truth. The truth is a lie. These guys are absolutely off the charts, and you're totally right. I mean, anybody watching any of these local morons and expecting to get the truth, they're all on the same page.
Yeah, they can't even get the local stuff. The truth.
They can't even
like
get the weather report right.
The recall and stuff.
That's why you got to get in their face. That's why you got to get in their face. Do that's what Obama told them to do. That's what Maxine Waters told everybody to do. Get in their face.
Oh, that's true. And that's what she said, right?
Yeah. So that's what we got to do. We got to do it with our local media, and because they don't have the support staff or the support that our politicians have. But hit them all.
Yep.
Hit them all.
Yeah,
and,
I think having the gloves on is over. We're the gloves are coming off, and if they need to be slapped around, figuratively speaking, I think that's.
Figuratively speaking.
We would never do anything else.
Of course, that if there's witnesses, we're speaking figuratively. But truthfully, that's what needs to happen. These guys, you got to get in their face because they're already losing respect because now people are starting to see the lies. They're starting to see they're showing up at the Board of Supervisors meeting and going, that guy's a freaking snake. I never knew that. I've been.
Well, they're starting to get plugged in locally, and then they get, turn on the news and they go, That's not what went on. That's not what happened there, you know?
Exactly. But, everything they promote and push, none of, that's allegedly a crisis or a claim they make, they're never asked to prove it. And it's never quantifiable. Like they claim Biden got the 81 million votes. Prove it. Now, they don't have to prove that. Or they say, masks save lives. But they're never asked to prove it. Or, you just go down the list where it's people are seeing it. And you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
They are.
We're seeing this. Where the enemy's always invisible.
Yeah, it's like politicians, how do you know when they're lying? It's like moving their lips. And that's really the case on all these guys, I mean, and they really are starting to see it because, they've been telling us locally for quite some time they can't do anything about the mandates. They can't do anything about the emergency, handed down from high from Governor Mussolini down there. And they say they can't do anything. Well, I read in the emergency declaration where it says they can, in the emergency, this was at the Board of Supervisors a couple weeks ago. I read it right out of their declaration that says that they can end this anytime they want. They can stop the emergency anytime they want. They were lying about it for the whole day, and then there's $42 million involved, but that really doesn't, that's not affecting their judgment, while they shoring up their pensions and everything. But the real deal is, I told them, you guys are full of shit. You guys are they're liars. And that's what people are starting to see is that, they're just milking the system because they get that CARES money coming in, and then that replaces the general budget. So then now they can take what was going to be paying on the general budget and shore up their pensions or hire a bunch of new health workers and new guys. And so you get to go to work for the government and you're being bribed right out of your freedom.
Yeah, the people are starting to feel the pain, though. They're losing their jobs. Yeah, they're starting to hurt while these guys are getting fat.
Yeah, they're seeing the shelves, the products vanishing from their shelves. Mm-hmm. And then you see somebody that's been vaccinated who catches COVID telling people they need to get vaccinated. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then you look, the CDC, since I think it says 2015, they've changed the definition of vaccine 4 times. They've changed it, I think, twice in the past 6 months.
Well, if you get the shot, you're really not vaccinated till two weeks goes by. If you catch COVID between the time that you got the shot and the 14 days goes by, on the third day, if you catch COVID, you're not really vaccinated. You're just an unvaccinated COVID carrier, and you're not a hero anymore.
It is. Yeah, we're in deep in the rabbit hole. We're seeing what just massive amounts of money can do. And I was listening to an interview with Dr. Zelenka over the weekend, and he was pointing out there's like 120 people on this planet, the richest people on this planet, that are pulling all these strings.
Yep.
And I don't know that this is true, but he made the reference that they have like $20 trillion with a T of wealth. 20 trillion.
Wow.
20 trillion. I mean, individuals.
Well, that's what happens that's what happens when you have central banks that counterfeit money and lend it to you at 0% interest. It's pretty simple, and then you buy everything.
Oh, yeah, and then you make up these ridiculous studies. We spend $25 million to study butterfly parts. Yeah, really. Yeah, we're sure that happened.
Well, there was also another one where they studied the sex habits of tree toads in the Amazon, and then I think another one was they were studying why tricycles fell over, and they kept the conclusion after a couple hundred million was that they cornered too sharply.
And it's ridiculous as these things sound. They're true.
Yeah,
it's true. It's like. So, but anyway, but we're going to be all right. Well, everybody needs to get right with God. Is what they need to do.
Boy, that's a good. A good way to start. I mean, the Great Awakening could be much more than we think it is.
Well, you know what's happening? Their Great Reset is getting ready to have its ass kicked by the Great Awakening. That's what's going to happen. And you watch. And people called me crazy when I said Trump was going to win in 2015.
Yep.
Well, we're going to be fine. We're going to get it. We're going to get this ship righted. And this was just, I think this was just God showing everybody what's going on. That's me. You know, I'm one of those old redneck Christians.
Well,
and
maybe we could use a few more of them. You know, you always like to say we might be cousins, and who knows, maybe we are.
From a different mother.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My pastor here in Middle Tennessee, he's number 2 on Nancy Pelosi's domestic terror watch list.
Wow.
My pastor. And to God, it's a what? But, you know, I mean, and if you look, there's no agency that's not corrupt. Point to one federal agency that's not corrupt.
You know, I can't
do it.
I can't think of one.
Yeah, that's what's so scary, is the layers are so deep and so many of them. Who would have thought?
Well, money corrupts. You know, that's you know the old story. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Wow.
And the love of money is the root of all evil. And I think you put those two together, and you got it.
Well, you know, you've got these people that are just so evil. That Klaus Schwab, that dude. I mean, he's like a team of the best fiction writers could not design a better bad guy. And they think it's their right to totally destroy our society and Western civilization and implement this new society and the new forms of commerce, and everybody gets injected with their cell phone information.
Wow. Wow, that's that's a bad Bond movie right there. I mean, he's
It totally is, and the thing is, they're saying it out loud.
Yeah.
You know, that they want to merge man and machine. They want to improve. They think they're going to improve the world. Yeah,
they're screwed. Yeah. They're so screwed up. It's you can't even make a statement that makes sense on how screwed up they are, because and they're arrogant to the point where they're sitting back thinking they're totally untouchable.
Well, you know what? Well, they've arrived at that conclusion quite honestly. Actually, I mean, look, they've been doing this. In fact, Dr. Robert Malone tweeted out an article from Swiss Policy Research a couple of weeks back. He said, this seems just insanely coordinated on a global basis, that's because it is. And he said there's a name for it. It's called racketeering and corruption. And it pointed straight to that Swiss Policy Research pointed to the Gates Foundation and BlackRock and that the World Economic Forum and all that stuff.
Hey, did you happen to catch that clip a couple weeks ago? I don't know how long ago. I saw it a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure exactly when it was recorded, with Bill Gates, and they were talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And they asked Bill Gates. They asked Bill Gates, why were we on the plane to Epstein Island? He said, well, I was only there a couple of times. And then the reporter, it was like one of the few times I've ever seen. It was an NBC reporter said, actually held his feet to the fire a little bit and said, well, no, according to the logs on the plane, it was like 27 times. And he's like, well, I was not there. That was before, and he's dead now.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah,
he's dead.
He goes, he's dead. So let's move on.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was an NBC reporter. I guess they've probably been fired by now. Have you seen them back on the air since?
No.
Would be my question.
I don't believe I have. I mean, you catch glimpses of truth here and there. They're just glimpses, from different places. But on the internet, it's not only the biggest source of disinformation, but it's probably the only source of real information if you look in the right spots.
It is. And, my question, out there in California, you guys have probably the biggest homeless population. You got those big homeless encampments.
Mm-hmm.
But are they just immune to this COVID stuff?
Well, you know, you don't catch COVID if you stay outside and you don't get vaxxed, and you know, you don't report the cases that you do have, and we don't see
and you use the streets as a toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's good.
I guess we don't see a lot.
I heard, and I was glad to hear that San Francisco's finally going to require proof of vaccination before you can move on the sidewalk. And I think, you know, safety first is always a good thing.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if you got caught eating a sandwich, you'd get cited. If you got caught taking a dump, there's no problem. You know,
especially if you're taking a dump and shooting heroin at the same time, I think you get a bonus or something.
Double jeopardy.
You know, we get a little bit of a bad rap from where we're at. We're up here by Mount Shasta, you know, about 50 miles below Mount Shasta and almost to Oregon. So we don't see it like, you know, they're seeing it probably in the rest of California, but it is still pervasive up here, you know. And
yeah, but you guys are surrounded, man. Oh my God!
Well, we haven't got a poop map or a needle map yet, you know. But who knows if Governor Newsom is able to, crown himself as emperor on the steps of the Capitol down there? Who knows?
Yeah, but he's trying to lock us down and let all the prisoners out. You know, they're turning them and closing the jails and everything here in California as well.
It's total chaos. I mean, this is anarchy. They want anarchy. They want this Klaus Schwab. You know, those are the people behind all this.
Yeah.
And they know that they cannot succeed with their Great Reset unless they destroy America.
That's why they're doing. You're absolutely, I think, spot on. Create an atmosphere of fear and chaos, because people who are very fearful and are looking for relief from the chaos are easily manipulated. Typically, I think us Americans are made up of a little bit more of that backbone than that in general. I mean, yeah, you've got your liberals and you guys got you got your leftists and you got your milquetoast, and but there's a lot of rough men and women that are strong out in the different parts of the country that are just not going to take this.
Well, I think that their fear is overcoming because of the children are getting involved now too. You know, they're starting to stand up more and say, well, yeah, I'm scared to death, but I have to do this because now they want to inject the children. They're bringing the children into it, and people are going,
Well,
no.
it's kind of like being out on a battlefield in a foxhole. You know, if you're sitting out there in the foxhole, you can either hunker down and just sit there and wait for them to bayonet you, or you can get up and start shooting a bunch of them before they get to you.
Yeah, that sounds like a dog whistle to me, buddy.
And if enough of you get up out of the hole and start shooting them, you might actually win.
Yeah, you never know. You're going to take a few of them out while you go anyway.
Well, we're going to get this. We're going to get it. We'll be all right. It's just going to. We are just seeing a level of evil that I've never witnessed before. I've never even read anything like this. Dr. Evil on Austin Powers wasn't even this bad.
Well, Fauci could actually be a stand-in double or worse, because you look at what's been going on with this puppy thing. I mean,
that's gross.
This guy is like, he's bent. I mean, he's not only got a screw loose, his elevator's not going to the top floor. I mean, there's something wrong with this guy.
It's not leaving the basement. Okay.
Well, there was also reports, aside from the puppies, which is just horrendous. They were using foster kids. They were using orphans to test HIV. You just look it up. I mean, you can find these articles. The information's out there, and that's one of the things that Americans and people around the world have to do. We have to use our critical thinking and do our own research. Mm-hmm. You know, the people shouldn't believe me or you. Whatever they hear, they need to check it out.
Yeah, you got to think for yourself should be, the new mantra. Think for yourself. Do your own investigating. When I look at stories and whatever source, I vet them. You got to go. Now, I hadn't heard that one about the children or anything, but you know something? Am I shocked? Heck no, because I wouldn't put anything past these rat sons of bitches.
No. I'm telling you, man, you check it out. And then another thing they did was what they did to some monkeys. Did you hear what they did to some monkeys?
Yeah, I heard about the monkeys. I heard they
put acid They put acid on part of their brain to destroy the thing that protects against fear, and then they showed them all these images, these horrible images of spiders and bats, and just freaked them out. And what the hell kind of science is that? What are you trying to figure out?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the Nazis, Dr. Mengele type stuff, I mean, you're just doing stuff because, you can. I mean, what else? I mean, what are you going to learn from something like that? I don't know.
But you got to have a lot wrong with you to even think of that stuff.
Well, what you have to be is you have to be completely godless and don't think that there's any consequences for any of your actions.
Yeah, but kind of like Dr. Mengele. This is bigger than anything he ever did, and that's why we signed the Nuremberg Charter.
Yep.
It's just breathtaking that you see these professional journalists, and they have no soul. These people have no soul. Just keep reporting it, and like everything's fine. And then, like my local media here, when I called them to let them know that Vanderbilt was getting rid of patients, the chick I talked to said, "Oh, that's not really a news story."
Wow.
And then it turns out their biggest advertiser is Vanderbilt.
Jeez. I mean, it reminds you of, Baghdad Bob, I mean, there's no troops coming onto the place. It's like they're in total denial because it's for a paycheck? So you would sacrifice this many lives. You would sacrifice your integrity. You'd sacrifice everything for a paycheck? I mean,
these people, that did those demons in Davos, they want this depopulation. And I thought that was just... the thing about it, it's gotten so crazy. If you say out loud what you sound crazy. I mean, but it's true. They talk about it out loud, the depopulation, getting things under control. And then transhumanism. There's so much insanity going on right now that we just have to, you better be praying.
Well,
if you don't have God, you better get him.
Well, it's hard to figure out what the truth is anymore because I think they throw out some stories to make you sound like a nut, which is basically a cover for other stories that are actually true. So that's what they've been doing is feeding disinformation so a guy can run down a rat hole that has no, and then something is completely, and I'll give you an example on Obama's birth certificate. I did a bunch of research on that, and Bill O'Reilly, there's nothing. He's Connecticut and all this crap, but none of them ever talked about the fact that his father was a citizen from another country. In order to be eligible to be the president of the United States, both parents had to be American citizens, and they used all these other things, and some of them are even true. I don't think he was born in Hawaii. I don't know, but they discredited, anybody who went against the narrative, and they avoided the real issue, which is that his parents weren't American citizens.
Yeah, they never answered the question, that's for sure.
No, but see, that's what their favorite word is, debunked.
Right.
Oh, that's been debunked. And, but no, it's,
nobody's...
It's maddening. But you could sit here. We could sit here and go through outrage after outrage after outrage. And I would just say, if it weren't for God, I was homeless. And I think you guys may know I was homeless from 2008 to 2014. And when God came in and slapped my country ass around, and everything changed. And right now, I can be surrounded by a tornado of shit, and I'm still calm and confident on the inside.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with God, because I know everything's going to be fine. I know it's going to be fine.
I think that's why we're winning, Joe Dan. We're winning the narrative because you put on the full armor of God and you gird your loins, as I always say, and you go into battle.
Yeah. You tell my loins are girded.
We could talk with you all day.
We got about a minute, though.
Yeah, but we only have about a minute or so. Is there anything else we want to get out there, contact information or anything? And I want to thank you so much for coming on with us.
Well, God bless you. It's my pleasure. I just put up a new website. Like I said, next year is going to be our 10th anniversary. It's intellectualfroglegs.com. Come on over, subscribe to the show alerts. And one thing you'll notice when you get to my website, there's no pop-up ads, none of that nonsense.
I see that.
So come on over. Come on over and join us. We have a wonderful time. I have a new episode that'll probably be out within the next week or so. And anyway.
Well, we've been supporting you for quite a while. We've been supporting you, whether you know it or not, for quite a while. With our donations, whatever we can do, and sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. But I also I want to get to the barbecue one of these days that you have down there in Franklin at some point. I was there 1 year, and I didn't quite make it because I didn't know about it, and then I had to fly out, and it was during fires and all kinds of crap. But yeah,
one of these days we'll meet you in person.
Well,
that would be awesome.
Next August is going to be our 10th anniversary throwdown.
All right.
That's the biggest one. So you need to make that one.
Well, we'll put it on the calendar, and if we have to drive back there...
Yeah, send me the date and everything so we know.
It's because I'm not doing it.
It's always the first Saturday in August.
All right.
Always the first Saturday in August. So you always know the date in advance.
We'll have to drive because I'm not putting a mask on to get on a plane.
Hey, I just drove to Colorado and back because I wouldn't fly.
Yeah, that's...
I'm not going to get on their hamster wheel. Hell no. They can kiss my ass.
I guess we're out of time, Joe Dan. It's been great. And, as always, we love chatting with you.
Yep.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
I think that's it, huh?
I think so.
We're done.